how are you doing today? I feel like it's been so long since I've asked you how you've been doing. So yeah, how are you? I'm pretty good today. I just woke up actually, and now I'm recording this for the video this weekend. Yeah, I record the audio for Drawn Talks about halfway through the week, so it's both not too early and not too late to do it, because if it's too early then the events of time are like not updated enough for the video, but if it's too late then it's like me stressing to do it fast, because I like finishing these videos like a good day or so before they go up, and most of the time it's like 3 days before it goes up, so yeah. Well anyway, so the animation you're seeing on screen is for Jaden Unshaken Scene 3! Yay! I'm actually really happy with how this animation turned out, because I recently, now this is gonna sound a little silly, but I recently figured out a trick in Psy. I think I figured this out like 2 weeks ago maybe, but yeah, I figured out that when you use the line tool, and there's like all those options. Usually I only used like 3 of those options for most of the time because it just felt like so much to learn. So I just never actually read the other options. But recently I went through and was like, you know, maybe these will be useful. And I found one and it was deformed stroke, and I was like, oh, that sounds nice. And then I used it and I was like, what the heck? Why haven't I used this before? Because it's perfect for animation. I don't know why I didn't use it, but now I am, and now everything is easy. Like, honestly, I've gotten a lot of JU done in the past week or so. Like, I have approximately 95 seconds of Scene 3 line arted, and of the 180 seconds of Scene 3 in total, that means that I am about done with 52% of the line art, which is very exciting. It's kind of weird, actually. It's like I didn't think I'd get this far. I feel like I've talked about this in videos before, but I always felt like I'd die before I'd get this far. Oh boy. But yeah. Other than that, I did want to mention that the character that you see in the background of this animation, and you'll in fact see me animating him later on in the video, his name is CJ, and he's not my character, and he's in fact not really a Jaden Unshaken character, but I want to make him a Jaden Unshaken character, just like a background character who keeps showing up, because I love him so much. I love all 3 of the characters that I decided to use for this scene, because I needed 3 technically extras for this scene, and I didn't want to design them, so I ended up asking an old friend of mine if I could use his characters for the scene, and he was very happy to oblige, which in turn made me very happy because I love his character so much. And in fact, we actually have known each other since I was 13. I think he was 14. And yeah, he's known me since my old days of YouTube. He in fact used to voice act a character that was in old Jaden Unshaken, one of the iterations anyway. The character was named Jason, and he was like the main boy for early Jaden Unshaken stuff. But yeah, it's weird to think of how long I've known him. As for his voice being in an episode, I did when I was young. I think I was 14 at the time. Like, I ended up finishing part of an episode. I believe it might have only been 1 minute or something, but I finished like part 1 of my episode and I uploaded it to YouTube, and I was like, I'll never finish this, and I dropped that particular iteration of the series. It was a Magical Girl series. It was okay. I actually found the script for it probably a year ago, and I went and read it, and I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. Like, my grammar's fine, and it wasn't really that badly written. I mean, the story itself wasn't great, but like, it seemed pretty normal for a fanime of like now, and I was like, huh, good job, old me. So where I wanted to go with that was, he's had his characters since that time as well, and he has been working on his comic. And I'll try to link it in the description for you guys to read, because it's very cute and nice and I love it. But yes, the character that you see just kind of in the background of this animation that I'm doing here is like, he's not my favorite character. My favorite character is actually a different one in this same scene, but for some reason he was so much more fun to animate than my favorite character, because I don't know, I think it's because he's like really happy all the time. And I don't know, he was pretty adorable, and it was a lot of fun animating him for the first time. And yeah, I should mention, I've made a lot of fan art for these characters in my time as a human being, but this was the first time I actually ever animated them. And it made me so happy. I was like, it's like I'm animating my childhood, and it's hard to explain because like Jaden Unshaken technically should be my childhood, but when I think about it, like this version of Jaden Unshaken I've had since 2013. I've had all the characters since 2007, but I've had the characters in this version and this story since 2013. It feels different, I think, but his characters basically haven't changed much since we were young, so it feels like I was animating like characters from my childhood, like as if I were animating the first versions of Jaden Unshaken, I think. It's just a lot of fun, and it warms my heart to see them move. Also, on the topic of animations, yeah, I finished that MAP part, of course, and I posted it on Wednesday, and a few days before it got posted, though, I was like, okay, Shayna, no more MAP parts. You have to do this episode. Like, someone asked me on Tumblr how many episodes of Jaden Unshaken there are, and I was like, well, I have 14 written out officially, but I have about 20 planned, and then I had to edit that answer and be like, okay, more like 30 are planned, but I didn't want to be too generous. But basically, what that ask did to me was, it made me realize, like, dude, you are falling behind. You need to get done. I don't know, it made me really anxious to finish Jaden Unshaken, and so for a while now, I've been feeling like, gosh, stop working on other things. You gotta get Jaden Unshaken done, or else you're gonna die before it comes out. Like, it sounds pretty negative, because it is, and I'm sorry, I'm very sorry to have said that, but that's how I feel about Jaden Unshaken, and I guess that's, now you know. Now you know why I work all the time on it, because I just feel like it won't come out unless I do, so there you go. Very sorry for that little downer bit of mentionings, but yes. So, since I haven't done this in a while, I figured at the end of this video that I would go ahead and ask you how your life has been going. How have your projects been going? Have they been going well? I really hope they have, because I love when people work on their stuff and I love seeing their stuff come out. So if you have anything that you've finished recently or that you're working on, go ahead and tell me in the comments. I would love to see or hear about, depending on what you go for. Other than that, do you have any characters from your old stories that you haven't drawn in a while that you would just like to tell about? Like, go ahead and tell me about some old characters, even the silly ones. I love even the silly old character stories. Like, go ahead and tell me. Everyone comes from somewhere. It might be a little embarrassing, but in the end, it's something that you did, and you should be proud. Like all those drawings in that old journal of yours, all those rainbow colored sketches that you used to draw. I think you should be proud of them, because that's what made you who you are today. I wouldn't be who I am unless I drew and animated those first iterations of the Jaden Unshaken characters, so here we are in the present because of how silly I was in the past. So go ahead and tell me about your old characters and your old stories if you want. Maybe even compare and contrast to how the characters are now if you still have those characters. For example, Jaden of Jaden Unshaken, her name used to be Jade, and she used to be a lot different. She was, like Rainbow Dash, just very loud and action-oriented, but at the same time her character was very, like, afraid of doing stuff, and I'm kind of proud of my old self for implementing that internal character conflict. When I was young, I was like, Jade's a little too, I don't know, confident? So I was like, what can I do to make her a little more human? Maybe I'll have her love playing pranks on people and telling jokes, but not be able to take them, you know? Like, I figured, like, she'd be very afraid of horror stuff, like haunted houses and just spooky stuff in general, and that was her thing. Like, she'd be fine setting a prank on you, but if she gets pranked, then she's very afraid and very scared. And it's not like she'd be angry about it, she'd just be very scared. Deny that she was scared, of course, but very scared anyway. Yeah, I'm proud of my old self for thinking of that, and that kind of has stayed with Jaden up to now, but it has morphed from less of that standpoint to more of, like, she pretends that she is all fun and happy and good, but she's not. that has stayed. I think I implemented that when I was like 15, and that has stayed since then, so. Oh boy, I think I talked too long. So here we go, wrapping up. I hope you enjoyed the animation that I did today. I know I did. I really enjoyed how it turned out. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye!